This is Monty Henry, owner of DPL Surveillance Equipment, and that's my cat, Lazy Bones. Okay, he's not feeling very good about Jerome Powell's congressional testimony. That's Fed Chairman Jerome Powell's congressional testimony this morning. Lazy Bones really has a lot to say about how Jerome Powell is coming across to Congress and Congress's own input and feedback on the job performance of Fed Chair Jerome Powell. So that makes two of us Lazy Bones. Lazy Bones is my cat. He is very, very opinionated. And after listening to 2 days of congressional testimony, I think both of us have concluded that this is the biggest farce. But it's not an exception, because I've been listening to congressional testimonies from various chairmen and chairwomen of the Fed going way back. It's just something that I do. I listen to all of them. If it's Ellen Greenspan, if it's Janet Yellen, if it's Paul Volcker, if it's who else? It doesn't matter. Bernanke, all of them. When they go in front of Congress, for some stupid reason, I have to listen to those boring testimonies in front of congressmen and senators, and I want to try and decipher the level of sincerity, the level of honesty that is bandied back and forth between these people that supposedly represent us as citizenry of the United States. And this is the conclusion that I'm coming to. Most of these people could give a rat's ass about the things the questions that they're raising and the things that are going on. Mainly because I've listened to this again for 20 years, 25 years. And you could substitute one Fed chair or person for another, and you would swear that the congressional testimonies are identical. They cover the same things. They talk about, how are the banks able to get away with the things that they're getting away with, and then they talk about how does the Fed actually have enough tools and resources to work with, and they talk about unemployment, and they talk about the blacks and the Hispanics in terms of why they're not making as much progress as they should be. And they talk about, is there anything that the Fed people, chair people can do to help with, you name it, alleviating unemployment, or dealing with that as much as possible. And they're throwing in, the only thing new now is they're throwing in their various concerns about cryptocurrencies. Okay, since I'm a big fan of Bitcoin particularly, I listen to that part intensely. And it's really scary when the congressmen and senators are querying Jerome Powell on just his opinion on the impact of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in the economy and the financial markets specifically. And his feedback was basically, we don't have jurisdiction. Well, the question was not, do you have jurisdiction? The question was, what do you think about the impact? And the only thing that these guys are able to focus on is, well, we're concerned about money laundering. We're concerned about illicit drug activity. We're concerned about funding of terrorist activity. In other words, there's absolutely no mention of innovation that could help banks run more efficiently and save a lot of money and be more accountable and be more transparent. There's absolutely no mention of having a sound money alternative that actually can't be printed away to the point where it loses completely all of its value, like the dollar is. Excessive quantitative easing and excessive money printing has caused major disruptions and mispricing of assets in the financial markets. There's no mention of how Bitcoin, for instance, could help resolve that problem. So no emphasis on innovation, no emphasis on efficiencies, no emphasis on the idea that drug money launderers and drug lords and illicit or financing of terrorist activities is going through the current banking system each and every day. And J.P. Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, Citibank, HSBC, UBS, all of these guys, they get caught every single day doing things in the banking system because they run the banks, right? So, but every day there are write-ups indicating that obviously the current system is not working. So maybe we should be looking at alternatives, right? If transactions are going over the blockchain, at least there's a possibility of flagging of accounts or monitoring of transactions. But with dollars and cash, the possibility of tracing these things is close to zero. Just like when we finally found out that the FBI agent or two had stole Ross Ulbricht's Silk Road Bitcoin stash from him. I mean, they were supposed to arrest him and put him in jail for a specific crime, but in the process, some agents decided to stuff their own pockets with Bitcoin. But because those transactions, ironically, were monitored and traced over the blockchain back to the original FBI agents, now we finally get a chance to see what happens when officers are on the take. But never before in history have we had the ability to prosecute and identify when these agents and police officers or whoever were when they bust somebody for a drug-related crime. A lot of times, money goes missing, drugs go missing, contraband goes missing. But again, it's almost impossible with fiat or the cash-based model to allow you to investigate and do the type of forensics. Once dollars are stolen or something from doing a drug bust, there's very little record. But with Bitcoin, at least we can find out whether or not Bitcoins are making their way through the blockchain, and and we can get a better idea in terms of where they're going and where they came from. Anyway, these idiots know absolutely nothing about Bitcoin, its impact on the economy, the financial markets. They have no idea about the innovative part of it. They have no idea that China and other countries are going to be investigating this technology, and they're going to be pushing forward with their own versions as soon as they can figure it out. But the United States is still putting more emphasis on the negatives as compared to the positives. But even going beyond that, Powell, for instance, was asked about anti-poaching of employees, anti-poaching or anti-competitive things that are going on in corporate America. For instance, in the restaurant industry, a number of restaurant corporations, companies, have been accused of anti-competitive practices. In other words, anti-poaching means that if I run McDonald's and you run Burger King, I'll agree that if my Burger King employees want to get a job at McDonald's and possibly make more money, that you would refuse to pay them more money, okay, when they come to your company. And if your employees from McDonald's go over to my company, Burger King, and they want to get a better job, better paying job, me and you have an agreement that we won't pay any more money. In other words, this inhibits employees from earning the type of money that they should make, because we already agreed that I'm not going to pay more money to your employees if they come to my job, and I'm not going to pay any more to your employees if they come to my job, and vice versa. This has been going on in Silicon Valley for a long, long time. This has been going on in a number of industries for a long, long time. But these idiots in Washington are pretending like this is new, and they still aren't quite sure how to handle it. Come on. I mean, but this is what their role is in Washington, to talk about how they are concerned and how they're going to look into this and do a report on that. But again, because I've been listening to this garbage for like 20 years, just because I want to know about the exchange of questions and answers and concerns. I just want to see whether anything's going to change. It really doesn't, but it's really pathetic, because those guys basically want to keep the status quo intact for as long as possible, and any threat to the system, they want to make sure that they crush it as quickly as possible. And just so you know, any attempt for the common workers and common people to get ahead is going to be limited and quashed, and that's not supposed to happen. When the Federal Reserve gets together, and when they do their job and they're doing it effectively, that means that certain classes of people get the opportunity to get opportunity and excel, make more money, and benefit from the economy, whatever. And certain groups of people, they're not supposed to excel. They're not supposed to climb the ladder of success and benefit from the things that they're supposed to be made available when you work hard and study hard and all that. So just so you know, that's what's happening in Jerome Powell's testimony. It's currently ongoing for the last 2 days in Washington, D.C., and it looks like it's the same old BS, where a bunch of a very small minority of people, Caucasian men with gray hair and very few women, are dictating pretty much what happens to the lives of millions and millions of people, and it doesn't look like things are changing at all, and they probably never will, because this is where the system is set up, right? Protect the bankers, protect the large corporations, keep the status quo, try to quash any threats, and try to make sure at the end of the day, the people and on both sides of the table, they get together, they go play golf, they go eat dinner, and they talk about things that are more relevant to them, other than what could be done to actually change things and help people who are really being devastated by these stupid decisions and stupid practices that are going on in Washington, D.C. So anyway, I thought I'd take the time out for those of you who don't know what's going on in Washington, who don't know who Jerome Powell is, who don't know what they discuss or don't discuss or whatever. This is what's happening, okay? Same BS, a different person from the Federal Reserve. That's all it is. And when Jerome Powell leaves, I can guarantee you, I'll listen to the next person for 1 or 2 days to their congressional testimony, and they'll be saying the same thing. They wrap up their sessions with, okay, we're gonna try to do more to help the minorities. We're gonna try to do more to help smaller banks. We're gonna try to do more to crack down on anti-competitive, monopolistic tendencies that reverberate throughout corporate America. And then they'll wrap up their sessions, and they'll go play golf and go eat dinner at expensive restaurants and forget that you guys ever existed. So anyway, as my solution, learn about Bitcoin, learn about blockchain, try to achieve some modicum of financial independence, separate yourself from the current system. It does more harm than good. It's like a poison, actually, that the more involved you are with the fiat-based economy, the more it's going to negatively affect and infect your life like a poison. So anyway, you guys have a great day and take care, and we'll talk later. Thank you. Bye.